I've used this concept now in business, in life. It's a micropivot. It's not this huge overnight dramatic kind of statement. In life, we are kind of conditioned to believe everything requires this dramatic change, this dramatic action to get you the result you want. And I would beg to differ. Welcome to The Introverted Influencer, the podcast for the woman who's over getting advice from 20-year-old business coaches on Bali sabbaticals and seven-figure entrepreneurs who only share their wins. I'm your host, Erica Van Slyke, blogger turned soulpreneur, mom of two, and a mentor for women done with the hustle. Here, sacred strategy meets feminine flow, and we expose what it really takes to build a business grounded in purpose, not trends. A brand that moves with your rhythm, not the algorithm, because you didn't leave your 9-to-5 grind just to build a shinier cage with your name on it. Well, hello, beautiful. Welcome back to another episode of the Introverted Influencer podcast. So today's episode is going to be a pretty good mixture of very practical, but ultimately it is a way to approach the world, approach your business, approach your mindset, even approach like your fitness. And with that being said, this concept for me started in my fitness journey years and years ago. And I'm so thankful to the trainer who taught me this after years and years struggling with my weight and like going all in and basically the whole yo-yo. It got me out of the yo-yo dieting, but I've used this concept now in business, in life, and so I just want to share it with you. And that is the power of a micro pivot, because I think in life, we are kind of conditioned to believe that everything requires this dramatic change, this dramatic action to get you the result you want. And I would beg to differ. And hear me out. Here's why. So, like I said, back when I started my fitness journey, I was one of those that was always really, really active, could eat whatever I wanted. This was like middle school when I did everything, basically every sport. And I decided to quit. And that's kind of when I got more into like art and music. And so I quit all of the physical activity one summer and gained a ton of weight. And then from there, I was like just completely naive. And I decided I was just going to go all in and all out to lose the weight for the following school year. And so like, I went from like being completely sedentary to, doing a crazy amount of cardio on top of like a dance class, on top of soccer. Like I went all in on that. I went right to, remember Slim Fast, anybody? Is that still even around? So I went from like eating whatever I wanted, eating fast food junk, we do that when we're kids, whatever, to like, oh, I'm only going to have like a Slim Fast for breakfast and maybe a piece of fish for lunch, and then maybe try to not even eat dinner, like crazy crap, right? And yeah, I lost a lot of weight, but then I ended up gaining it back and more. And I just continued with that forever until I found an awesome trainer. And she basically taught me that you gradually take away things from your diet, or you gradually add in more cardio, or you gradually add in higher weights. It's a micro pivot. It's not this huge overnight dramatic kind of statement. And from there, it seems like I learned how to stabilize my weight. So like, and it wouldn't even be like even a year round kind of thing. There's like, you eat and that's maintenance. But if you have an event coming up, maybe take away carbs from like 1 meal. It's not this huge like deprivation kind of thing. Or maybe most of the year you weight train, but summer you want your abs. Why don't you add in cardio, and not even every morning? Maybe just 2 to 3 times a week, add in the cardio. And so from when I kind of got the handle on that, when it came time to run my business, I was also able to apply it to my business. So I wanted to give you some examples just to kind of get your creative juices flowing on how you could apply this in your own situation. So, marketing and effective copy It's the difference sometimes in just one word, like your call to action. Maybe it's not converting because of one word you're using. And you could just change that verbiage, right? Experiment. It's not, oh, nobody wants to buy from me. I suck at life. I need to like shut down my business. No, maybe just change some words in your copy. It's really that simple. For me, when this was a few years ago, and I remember a fellow blogger had announced to other bloggers on a Mediavine Facebook group I'm on, talking about, wow, I increased my font size from like 12px to 18px on my blog. And that month, I made like an additional $500 that month just from increasing font size. And I remember implementing that. I wanted to make sure Mediavine supported that, and they absolutely do. And yeah, I made a significant amount of money just because I increased my freaking font size. Like, these things are mind-blowing, guys. It doesn't seem like it, but it is. Even more on a lifestyle kind of level. I know I've talked about it before, the importance of meditation. And I know so many of you are like me and you're a busy mom and you're like, how the hell am I going to carve out even 10 minutes for silence? Because it's hard. I get it. But how I even got in that habit, I set my alarm for like 15 minutes earlier. Just 15 minutes, not even a whole hour, just 15 freaking minutes. It doesn't have to be this crazy, like radical thing. These small little changes. So I've discussed like diet and fitness, business. Quick pause, you beautiful soul. So if you've been vibing with this episode and you are building a brand, a blog, or even a brick and mortar business, I would love to support you in your journey. I am so freaking excited to announce that I am now offering one-on-one consulting for creatives and entrepreneurs who want to grow with their feminine flow, their soul essence, and are over the hustle, over the burnout, and done spinning their wheels on strategy that doesn't even fucking convert. To learn more about my offerings and to book something with me, head on over to introvertedinfluence.com. And now let's get back into it. Also want to talk about how this is applied to when you're really in the thick of, for me, it was almost like my greatest fear of manifesting. So when my blog did, it's safe to say it got pretty decimated. The Google traffic, at least, got decimated with AI overviews and the crazy algorithm updates. And I had always feared, oh my God, what if I have to go back to working a 9 to 5 for someone else? I literally had nightmares about it and catastrophized it. It was like there was no gray area. It was like the blog was generating 6 figures or more, or I would have to go back to work for someone and feel like a failure. And what I am learning in real time is it's really not that black and white. It's not that dramatic. I am now diversifying and taking on clients. And guess what? I get to choose the clients I take on and the work I take on. If I get bad vibes that this client's going to be overbearing or a narcissistic asshole, I don't have to take them on. If it's work that I think I'm going to find completely soul-sucking and boring, guess what? That's probably not the client for me. It's really simple. So what I had in my mind of like, oh God, what would I do if the blog didn't generate this amount of money a month? Okay, well, the blog it's not generating what I need it to, but I'm able to supplement it with work that actually lights me up, clients that have boundaries or that I can have healthy boundaries with, And it's not what I had created in my mind of this like catastrophe. Even in terms of this podcast, I had to make it work for me because I had a lot going on that required my attention, but it was still important for me to show up in the best way I could. And so what I found, I know a lot of people recommend batching content. And while I never preferred that when it came to actually like writing blog posts, because I couldn't stand to sit at the desk that long because it takes me hours hours to write a blog post. When it came to finding ways to make this podcast work for me, I think that batching has been the best. I can sit down and talk. And actually, when I batch, I feel like I'm better. Like the first episode of the batch may be a little rusty, but then I warm up. So batching your content, hell, even just like I said, adapting your cadence of something. And for me, going through a lot, I just couldn't commit to posting or recording once a week, but bi-weekly, okay, that's a little more manageable. And we can get in this mindset of like, oh, well, that's not going to get me anywhere. That's not going to grow my business or my podcast or my blog, whatever, my account. But I've seen expanders prove that myth wrong. There is a girl that I've actually fallen in love with. Her name is Mariah Magazine, and she is an SEO specialist. And she has grown a successful YouTube, a profitable YouTube. I mean, it may only be like $1,500 a month that she makes from her YouTube because the majority is her SEO business where she takes on clients. But still, I mean, $1,000 a month from YouTube posting. She said she could not commit to one video a week, that was just too much. So she does them bi-weekly. And that's after I'd already decided I was going to record the podcast like bi-weekly. And I thought, hell, well, she's doing it. And she said she does no other advertising to grow her actual SEO agency other than she just gets all the leads from YouTube. So not only does it make her passive income, but that's where she gets her clients. You know, everybody's like, oh, you got to post every week, or almost some people say 3 times a week to grow your YouTube. She's proving us wrong. She does it every other week. So I'm trying to think of some other practical like micro pivots, verbiage, obviously, in your call to action. Even in the previous episode, I talked about how there was an influencer, a really big influencer that put out a reel that I saw. And she said basically like after 10 years of influencing and blogging, she's realized it's not serving her and she's like not doing it anymore. Like it's this dramatic, like not doing it because she felt like so tired of always being tied to her phone and not being able to be present for her children. And I get that. And like there was a part of me that was like, yeah, that sounds kind of nice. I'd love to just delete the Instagram app off my phone. That would be amazing. But there's also this like, well, is there just a way to show up that supports presence a little more? And so personally for me, it's not going to be this dramatic, I'm not showing up for my blog, or I'm just going to quit the blog. It's more of, yeah, this summer, my oldest son, he's about to be in middle school and I do really want to be present with him. So instead of posting my normal cadence on the blog or on the Instagram, I'm going to do the bare minimum. You see, it's just a simple shift there. A micro pivot could even be you are so overwhelmed, burnout. Well, hell, why don't you hire a VA, hire someone part-time to do the stuff you hate to do instead of just throwing in the towel on everything. So with that, I just want to remind you, it's not always these like huge, radical kind of moments that gain us success. I think a lot of it is putting yourself in the position to have the energy to sustain success over years and decades. And if you're always doing something like, if you're always blowing it the fuck up every time it gets overwhelming or you feel like you're not succeeding anymore, things are going the opposite of how you'd like them to, and you just blow it up, I feel like in a lot of ways, it's a form of self-sabotage. So why don't you try just these small little tweaks, these small little micro pivots, and report back to me. So with that, I will talk to you again soon. And I'm sending you so much love, and DM me what you want to hear more of, please. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help. So please let me know what kind of content you would like more of. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. We could keep on spreading the word about this podcast. And 2 ways you can help me out is by leaving me a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this episode on, or you can actually take a screenshot of this episode and tag me over on Instagram at Designing Vibes. And of course, I would love you to DM me whatever resonates, and I am sending you so much love.